Bueno, está con nosotros Benas Matkevichus. Vamos a hablar un poquito sobre qué es ser un scout de los Celtics, qué es ser asistente en la selección lituana. Obviamente que te agradezco, Benas, por sumarte. Esta entrevista va a estar subtitulada, no se asusten, ni mucho menos, y van a tener que fumarse un inglés muy mediocre de mi parte, pero bueno, va a ser divertida toda esta charla. First of all, how is Argentina treating you?
Treating me very well with mate here at your office. It's been good. I've just visited Buenos Aires, so I didn't see much of Argentina. Argentina is a big country, so I have to come back to see Iguazu Falls, Mendoza, Patagonia. So I have to come back.
Are you having a good time?
Yes, I have a good time. I've walked around a lot, so I have a lot of steps that I put into my legs. But I walked around Boca, then I walked around Palermo, Puerto Madero. So it's just hard to get the picture at the obelisk because there's so many people there waiting always. So
I like to eat a lot of asado.
A lot of asado every day asado. I had this at the Telmo market, San Telmo market, chorizo and provolata cheese. Provoleta cheese. Fugaceta pizza. I had everything. I don't know what else to do.
A really good time.
Yes, I tried everything. One thing I have to criticize in Buenos Aires in Argentina, but I mostly obviously Buenos Aires, because I'll drink a lot of coffee, I'll drink a lot of flat whites, and there's not much oat milk. Only almendras, only almond milk. So that's one thing that Buenos Aires needs to level up, put some more oat milk in their system.
I would like to ask you what it means to you to work for the Celtics. We have a podcast, we have a project called Camino al Garden.
Yeah.
So we want to know about the franchise.
Tell me first of all, what's your goal with the podcast, with the Celtics podcast in particular, and to have a Celtics podcast in Argentina? What does that mean to you? Like, I'm gonna reverse the question.
It's okay. We want to live in Boston. Now we are Celtics fans, and we are journalists. So in many ways, the work and the passion it's going to the same place.
Yeah.
So we just work with the Celtics in a way.
So you just promote the information to the Argentinian fan, and anything that's happening around the Celtics, you try to raise awareness.
Yeah, we commentate the games.
Yeah,
every game, and we just try to analyze the situation.
Yeah. Now, for me, this is going to be my 11th season for the Celtics. So I've been very fortunate to be there for a long time, and ups and downs. You know, I came when we were rebuilding, and I saw the whole process when Danny Ainge and Austin Ainge hired me, and until now, when Brad Stevens took over, we continued the cooperation, and it's been phenomenal because it's just been getting better and better every year. You know, we had some. Obviously, with the Celtics, always high expectations, so you always have to perform at the highest level. We had some disappointing runs, but also when Brad Stevens was still coaching, we were also overachieving to an extent early on, you know, so that raised the bar early on again, and we had to perform at a high level. So our superstars grew up and became mega stars, you know, from lottery picks to now finals MVPs and just really dominating the league basically. So I'm excited to be a part of this franchise. I'm a small part of this franchise, and it's very humbling because it's such a big historical franchise, and that's the main reason also why I chose to do this job also, is to be part of this franchise. Because when I first came, I came from EuroLeague, and I probably would have not went to the NBA if it wasn't the Celtics. You know? It was very appealing because it's such a rich franchise in terms of history, in terms of the people that work there. It's a high quality product, high quality standards people. We all are very well and very in good cooperation with each other and good communication with each other. It's very down-to-earth people, personalities. So you can talk like you talk to Mike Zarin, like
Yeah.
anybody's very approachable, and that makes the franchise very appealing because we're all down-to-earth and pretty basic in terms of human behavior, but we also hold ourselves to a high standard in terms of work. So I've learned a lot over the years. I had to be patient also in a lot of essence because in a lot of senses because I still coaching for I still coach for the national team to an extent. Now I don't know because we have federation elections coming up, but in general, with the coaching timeline always fast, quick, and with the scouting it's more quiet. Yeah, it's more mellow. It's a slow moving process, and you have to be patient. You have to enjoy the process. You have to find ways to be productive, and there's so much information out there that I have to gather around the world.
It's a funny work.
It's a unique job for me.
Oh.
It's because no day is the same because there's games all across the world every day, everywhere, and every level. And one day you have to make more phone calls. Another day you have to write up reports. The next day you have to travel, wake up early, travel.
You have to watch 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, I watch EuroLeague. It depends on how many games there were there the day before. Like it depends on who I need to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch every game, but I watch a lot of clips. Then I have to watch the NBA. I have to watch college basketball because I have to compare. So it requires a lot of different factors, a lot of different areas of the game, branches of basketball. You have college basketball, NBA basketball, EuroLeague basketball, Australia and Japan, and you have to always cross compare because the levels are different.
You work only with Europe and these countries, not South America.
Well, if there's somebody in South America, then I raise awareness. I get the information, and then I watch it. But if there's nothing to watch, I will not watch just to watch. Maybe I watch it maybe for coaching purposes because maybe there's some interesting offensive sets, defensive philosophies. Maybe you can pick up something. In the internet, there's so many clips, so much information out there. So many people who like to post clips of different ATOs or offensive sets. And sometimes I pick something up, and that can be from anywhere. That can be from Japan, from Korea, from anywhere. So because there's unique styles of basketball to the unique cultures everywhere. So you have to also be open-minded when you are scouting basketball, scouting teams, like I do for a national team, because it's not necessarily a different way. It's not necessarily a bad way of coaching or playing. It's just a different way of maximizing your players. Because every culture, every team has to also adjust to the players that they have, and they have different styles. So for me, it's very, very interesting when I coach with the national team that I get to watch a lot of different styles. And then when I am with the Celtics, I get to also compare. I was like, okay, he's playing like this because in his system, in his country, they play like that, or this fundamentals or a certain way of developing is just different in that country than it is in the US, for example. So it's a lot of different factors.
Mm-hmm. Not only how any player fits in that system or any system.
You have to consider, first of all, if the player is talented, just generally talented, what level talent, what's the upside, how much better can the player get because of the age, because of the development. Then you have to take into account the physical tools, how tall, how long arms, what are the physical qualities that the kid is bringing. And then you have to evaluate every different event. You evaluate workouts, interviews, personality, national team, junior national team, club. There's a lot of different ways there's a lot of different areas to scout for that one player. And at the end of the day, you're educating yourself and you're making the decision based on the information that you gathered around. And it's difficult because it's not only watching 3 games and saying, okay, this guy is going to be good. Sometimes it's like a blind man can see that.
Yeah.
but there's a lot of players that are not elite and not bad, but they're like in the gray area, and there's a lot of things that can happen in that area, you know. So you have to be really aware and cognizant of the development system, of the player's mentality, of the player's surrounding, which people are around that player, and who influences him. You know, how does he keep himself focused? You know, there's a lot of factors to consider. Also, not only basketball wise, but also mindset wise.
We went back several years, 11. You just
Yeah, this is my 11th
11
season.
years.
Yeah.
How do you get to work with the Celtics, and did it surprise?
Yeah, I was scouting one summer when I was still in EuroLeague with Ceska.
You work with Ettore Messina.
Yeah, with Ettore Messina, and I was scouting one summer in Poland under 18 junior championships, and I was just scouting not for I was asking Ceska if I can go and if they can support me, just to see the next generation and to understand what level is coming up, what players are to watch. And for one day, I decided to sit in one area on one particular day, and my current boss, he saw me. I didn't have any shirt, nothing. No Ceska shirt, nothing, just a regular, like from the streets. And he came up, he introduced me because he saw me taking notes. And he said, I'm Austin H, and I work for the Celtics, you know, and then that's how we met. And we stayed in touch for 2 years, and then after 2 years, they offered me a contract, 3-year contract, and it was time for me to leave. So after working with Kazlauskas and Messina in Ceska, and I already started working national team at that time, I signed with the Celtics. And from that point on, it was a completely different job description, you know, different rhythm to my life. And I learned to live a different way, and that was also that's how it started, just through random conversation in the gym.
Let's talk a little about the last season. How do you analyze what happened?
It's
Easy question.
yeah, it's easy. Man, there's such a long season, right? So many things happen throughout the season, and obviously you have to consider that you have to be lucky. It's always not only luck of the Irish, but also lucky in general, because every team can have injuries, and we had injuries. You know, Kristaps was out during the final at some point, and then he came back, and he was a game changer for us. So that's probably one of the keys. Then also Brown and Tatum playing together, you know, finding one guy is not, you know, is they're giving each other space to be creative and to be effective, and to see if one guy is playing well, then we play with one guy, and if the other guy is playing well, if they both play at an elite level that night, you know, then it's game over. You know, we have a very offensive minded system in terms of fast pace. So we play, we shoot a lot of 3-point shots, and when we get hot, there's a lot of games where we're up by 40 points in the first half, you know. So it's a very it's a unique way of playing. I think it's a modern way of playing, but people forget also about our defensive qualities. You know, we have so many elite defenders on the perimeter.
With Drew and Derek.
Yeah, Drew, Derek. I mean, even Tatum and Brown.
Yeah.
I mean, there you cannot say like all of them are.
And this little guy, Al.
Al Horford or
Yeah,
Al Horford.
it's a
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah. Al, but also Kristaps with this rim protection. You know, with rebounding. There's a lot of, you pressure the ball with the guards, and then they come inside, and then there's Kristaps waiting to block the shot. So we have a lot of weapons on both sides, on offense and on defense. So we are very versatile, and again, health is always the biggest question, and that's the luck factor that every team, you know, needs to have. And we did it last year, so hopefully this year we can back it up again.
You were part of the parade.
Yeah.
Tell me about this.
I had fun. I had a lot of fun. No, that was the best part. The celebration, obviously the night after we won, but then 4 days later we had the parade, because it was a very hot week. We couldn't, the city could not organize, was not allowed to organize the parade, and we had it on Friday. and it was a phenomenal experience because it was, some people say 1 million, some people say 2 million, so 1.5, let's say, okay,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere in the average. It was, every street was flooded with people, long into the streets. The streets were all full, and everybody was wearing green, black, white. It was a green city, and people come from all across the states,
Mm-hmm.
not from Massachusetts. So it was a unique experience, and we were driving on the duck boats all around the city, 2 hours I think, and made the whole circle uh, through the through the Boston Common, and then all the way back. It was phenomenal. It was something that's you cannot write. You have to experience it, and
Sure.
I'm very happy that I got to experience it.
The last question. What's in the future for you? What's in the future for the Celtics?
More championships for the Celtics. Hope.
We hope.
Yeah, we hope. I think that's always the key for us. That's the standard we hold ourselves to as the banner, and that's for the franchise. That's nothing else but championships. So that's one thing, and they will come. For me, I'm with the Celtics, with the national team. I don't know what's gonna happen because we will have a new coach after we elect a new president
Mhm.
next week. We will have a new coach at some point soon, probably, and then it depends on the coach if he wants to have me or not. I will not be the head coach probably, but if the head coach wants to bring me as an assistant coach, I'm willing to work again as an assistant coach. It's an honor always to work for the national team, and I enjoy life, man. I love what I do. I love to be in the basketball world, but also I like to live life to the fullest in terms of what I do. If I work hard. If I
Mhm.
travel, I travel hard. If I live, I live hard. If I eat hard. Lots of meat in
Yeah.
Argentina. So lots of asado. If I eat asado hard. But that's one thing that I do is I like to enjoy in the moment what I do. Anthony Bourdain was one of my not like, I wouldn't say somebody I look up to, but it's somebody I admired for his way of looking at the world,
Mhm.
of how he connected with cultures through food, through fellowship. And I was just now in San Telmo Market, and I was just sitting there by myself. Well, not by myself, but I was by myself. But I was walking around, and there was like a lot of asado happening, and I was just sat down, and there was one guy from South Korea, and then this other girl from Ecuador, which I didn't know. I sat down, and I'm not gonna put headphones in. I put my stuff down, and I start talking to Martin from South Korea. We met, we started talking. He was taking pictures, I was taking pictures. Then I asked the girl where she's from, traveling by themselves. She's traveling by herself. He's traveling by himself, and then we get to know each other, and then you leave. I mean, but this is the exchange where you don't know what the fortune of life can bring you. Like the wheel of fortune of life, it can open up new doors, new perspectives, new lessons, and I like to be open to new experiences. I
Mhm.
like to do everything, not everything, but I like to do a lot of things at least once in my life, and to see that I like it, I don't like it, I want more of it, I don't want more of it. And this job and this phenomenal experience that I've had so far allows me to do that, and I'd like to connect with people. I think that's my biggest strength,
Mhm.
and that's what I want to continue to do. That's what I do on my podcast also. I connect with people. I like to talk to coaches, to yeah.
No, I'm gonna ask you what's in the future for your podcast
For the
too.
podcast,
Yeah.
yeah, that's one thing that I like to I I play with it a little bit, I experiment. I put on different people. I have people with big names on there, but also people that are lesser known, but because they are just as interesting, maybe sometimes more interesting, because they have a completely different story to their life, to their
Mhm.
career, and they deserve attention. They deserve also to talk to have a platform, because they have different stories to tell. There's also coaches or who didn't work out, like one of my friends, Simon Cody. He was on a podcast, and he talked about how he got fired 3 times. How things don't always work out for you. And I think those stories are also important to know. And not many people talk about the graveyard of the coaches. Everybody talks about Messina, Obradovic, Sharas or whatever. And there's just like every big name, but there's so many coaches that didn't have this path. So I like to talk about different things, and I like to connect with people. And I like to change perspective and open up different gateways to looking at the world, to looking at people and looking at perspectives. Because when you travel, I meet a lot of people, a lot of cultures, and I call it the spectrum of people. And the wider the spectrum is of people, the more you can compare and understand, okay, this is how they do it, this is how they do it. It's not right or wrong, it's just different, but if you haven't seen both sides, you will only think that only this side exists,
Yeah.
And the more you travel, the more you can kind of compare and realize that there's different ways of doing things. So that's one thing in my future. I like to learn. I want to grow more in different areas of the world, in different areas of life, not only in basketball, because I use a lot of information outside of basketball that I can apply in basketball. I learn from different cultures, different stories, different experiences that I can use in my job when I connect with people in my job, and then certain situations ring a bell. It's like ding ding, I remember this, and then I can use this in a different area. When I talk to players in the national team, I can tell them stories from other parts of my life that I've experienced and that maybe can help them, to open up a little bit of a different perspective and to maybe ease a little bit because not everybody is fortunate as I am to travel the world as much as I do and see so many different things and share perspectives and share a meal maybe.
Why not? Benas, it's a pleasure for me taking the podcast, taking it here in Uno Contra Uno to play. Have a great stay here in Argentina.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the mate the other day. I'm not supposed to say thank you for mate.
Yeah?
No thank you for mate.
No thank you for mate. No mixing.
No mixing. I learned that the hard way. No mixing. No thank you and no mixing. All right.
Yep.
Mix it up.
Thanks,
All right.
man.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.